I've always thought of us as much more of a marketplace than anything else. So I think like a more comparable company to think of us as like a marketplace like eBay. In fact, when we launched Airbnb, it was originally called Air Bed and Breakfast, and we entered Y Combinator. And like a lot of people now are called the Airbnb of or the Uber of, and we were not the Airbnb of anything because Airbnb didn't mean anything back then. And so Paul Graham said, you should say you're the eBay of space, because eBay was huge and everyone's got space. And so we always kind of thought of ourselves as the eBay of space in the very early days, and obviously we've become much more than that.
What does it mean for you as a company to be a hospitality company with no actual real assets of your own?
Yeah. Well, the hotels don't actually own most of the assets. So almost like the big misnomer about hotels is they own the hotels. Most of them actually are in a very similar business to us.
What's next? I mean, what are the other things that you're looking at to help hosts and make this a better experience for guests?
Yeah, so what we do today is we provide homes, and we actually started by providing rooms all over the world. And just to give you a sense of where we are today before I say where we're going, our record was about 2 weeks ago. We had about 420,000 people staying in an Airbnb, and we'll have close to a million homes around the world. And we had people staying that single night from 160 countries. At our core, though, we're not just about homes for trips. We think that people, like if you go to Paris, you're not going to Paris to stay in a home. You're going to Paris because you want to experience Paris. When you go there, you need to happen to have a home to sleep in. And so we want to be much more of a part of the trip than we are right now.
So is that's what experiences are,
yeah.
Right?
So I think one of the things we're really looking at is how can we become more present throughout the rest of your trip so we can make that trip an amazing experience. And it really maps back to what our core purpose is. And it's the idea that like if we're truly successful, we're going to create a world where you can truly bring people together and create a sense of belonging.
Okay, so I want to put something up on the screen. What body part does that look like to you?
I think it's an ear. One of the things we did a few years ago is we had to ask ourselves, what business are we in? Are we in the business of homes? Are we in the business of space? We made a decision a couple years ago, and we said, we're not in the business of homes or space. We're in the business of trips. That's what we're in the business of. You travel to have a trip, not to have a space. And so space is a part of it, but we're in the business of trips. The ultimate thing we want to do is we want to be able to enrich cities that we serve. And so we're in 34,000 cities. And so we're now in discussions with dozens of cities, not in every city, but dozens of cities with city regulators. I've met numerous kind of policymakers, supervisors in cities. And the idea is how can we work together to enrich cities? It's been an overall lesson for me in managing a marketplace. I've learned a couple things. The first thing I've learned is just generally, in politics, so much comes down to understanding. People have an opinion about you, and it's based on what they understand. And sometimes their opinions based on the people that have gotten to them. And so if you reach out to a politician to educate them and you get to know them, you may be on a good basis. If you wait for them to kind of hear from other constituents and you're really slow in education, then you start in a really bad place. So that's been a good lesson for me. But the other thing I learned was just generally this principles about managing a marketplace. So when we started Airbnb, I took the kind of Craig Newmark approach to managing a marketplace. Craig Newmark's the founder of Craigslist. And he thought, marketplaces or classified sites were kind of like immune systems. They had communities, and the communities would police and moderate itself. And so we thought, our community fundamentally is an immune system. And if bad experiences are happening, that's not a terrible thing because ultimately the community will moderate and remove them. Over time, what I've learned is that, that's, a bit unrealistic. Like we need to be much more proactive. So over time, we've gotten much proactive, whether it's on trust and safety, removing bad actors, providing insurance for people, being more proactive with regulators. So these are things that you start to learn, you get more proactive over time. But the difference between us and really every other hotel company is that we aren't really like a mass-produced thing. We are an economy that's powered by people. And every one of these people are providing hospitality, and they're not mass-produced. And part of the concept when we did the brand launch was we wanted every single person to have their own mark, their own identity. And I think this leads to where I see a lot of commerce going in the future, whether it's us, Lyft, Uber, and a lot of these companies. I think in the future, the economy is going to increasingly become powered by people.